just in case you were wondering, yes, we are still in January, and January is the dumping month. And boy, does this weekend certainly have a ton of dumpster movies. Case in point, the three films we have for today here on Time About the Movies for January 22nd, 2016. And you know it's not a very good weekend if Dirty Grandpa starring... Excuse me. You know it's a bad weekend when I can't talk right, but... You know it's a bad weekend when a movie like Dirty Grandpa is the biggest new release of the weekend. So in this movie, Zac Efron plays a lawyer who's about to get married, and he's going to get his grandfather, played by Robert De Niro, and they decide, he's getting married, he basically takes him, Robert De Niro basically forces him to go on a bachelor party down with his grandfather to Florida during spring break, and of course, chaos and hilarity ensue, and I say hilarity in quotation marks because there is no hilarity in this movie. There is nothing about this movie that is good. This is a goddamn travesty, man. I mean, this movie is the epitome of everything that is wrong with R-rated comedies that try to be raunchy and create something for a new generation. This is a goddamn disgrace, man. This movie is absolutely awful on so many levels. It wastes the talents of everybody involved in this movie, but that wouldn't be the worst of this film's problems if the film was actually funny. There is not one goddamn bit of humor that works in this movie. Their attempts at raunchy humor in this movie really feels like a 10-year-old who's just hearing swear words for the first time ever, and dirty words, and is basically putting a script together, and this is the project they turn out with. This doesn't feel like a movie written by smart people that know what they're doing. This doesn't feel like anything Judd Apatow would be involved in. No, this feels like something that was made for a bad direct-to-video movie, but because they got Robert De Niro and Zac Efron and Aubrey Plaza involved, of course they're going to put it out on the big screen, which, by the way, Zac Efron and Aubrey Plaza in this, it's actually the first of two movies that are two R-rated raunchy comedies this year. We'll get to the much better, and I mean much better movie with them later on in the summer. And, yeah, the movie just doesn't work because of the lazy attempts at comedy in this. I mean, it's bad enough that you have Robert De Niro saying these really stupid words that are trying to sound like they're raunchy and in your face and all that type of stuff, and no, there's none of that in this movie at all. There's literally a scene where his fiancée, Zac Efron's fiancée, played by Juliana Hough, calls them while they're down in Florida, and she's basically saying, "Here, I want you to listen to this thing I'm about to put in the paper, talking about our marriage and all that." And there's a part where she's talking about it, and then Robert De Niro comes in and says stuff like, "Dr. Stinkle von Tinklefart," or something like that. Just like, the people that wrote this script are 10-year-olds who, like I said, are just seeing this for the first time ever, and it's just kind of like, just fuck off, man. And just when you thought it couldn't get any more gross, and not in the way that this film is intending it to, but just uncomfortable to sit through, they have a scene where Aubrey Plaza is literally trying to have sex with Robert De Niro. Aubrey Plaza, who at the time of this movie coming out was 32 years old, and Robert De Niro was in I think his 70s at this point, maybe 1943, 2016. Yeah, 72 years, around 72, 73 or something like that. But yeah, and they show Aubrey Plaza is jumping on Robert De Niro, and it's just so uncomfortable to sit through. It's nightmare fuel. Like, once you see this scene, you're gonna have a terrible ass nightmare. Is the night after you watch it. That's how bad this is. This is, without a doubt, one of the worst comedies you will ever see in your entire life. It's terrible. It's not funny, and it's just a shame because this comes from people who should know better than this. Dan Mazer, who gave us Borat, who gave us Ali G in the House. This guy is a good filmmaker. He's made some good stuff. Even recently, I liked Home Sweet Home Alone. I think it's the best Home Alone sequel since the second one. Sue me. I like Bridget Jones' Mad About the Boy. I thought that was a much better one than the one that comes out later this year, which he also wrote. But, I mean, yeah, I like this guy as a filmmaker. This guy is not a hack. But man, it feels like he was forced to direct something that was not intended for a theatrical release at all. Like I said, this felt like a direct-to-DVD release. Like, if this movie had not had stars like Robert De Niro or Zac Efron or Aubrey Plaza involved in it, this thing would have went straight to DVD. This thing would not be in... theaters, and it wouldn't have made as much as it did, because it was a hit, and I'm shocked they never made a sequel off of this, because maybe even at that point, I think studios were, I think Lionsgate realized, oh, there's no fucking way we can make a sequel to this, and people will come and see it. Even if we send it straight to DVD, it's just kind of like, no, we're not doing that. So, yeah. What more do you guys say about this? I mean, it's just a terrible, terrible fucking movie. One of the worst comedies you will ever see in your entire life. It's a January movie. What do you expect? So, there we go. I would say that that's probably the worst of the bunch, but then again, it probably is. But, yeah, the next two movies are certainly not helping this weekend either. Let's take a look at The Boy.
Oh, Emily. The Boy, rated PG-13.
A movie that makes the original Annabelle movie look like a classic by comparison. It makes it look like Child's Play. I mean, that's how bad this movie is. But then again, this is directed by the same guy that gave us The Devil Inside. So, are you really that shocked it's terrible? Lauren Cohen from The Walking Dead stars as a young American woman who takes a job as a nanny in a remote English village and discovers that the family's 8-year-old is a life-size doll that the parents care for just like a real boy, and the way to cope with the death of their actual son 20 years ago. When she violates a list of strict rules, her worst nightmare is brought to life by a series of disturbing, inexplicable events, and she comes to believe that the doll is alive. Well, too bad you're not going to see anything really grotesque, because it's rated PG-13, so that basically means, yeah, you ain't going to get anything out of this movie. And not surprisingly, you don't get anything out of this movie to begin with anyway. I mean, the movie just falls into lazy territory we've seen done to death before. Cheap jump scares, a lackluster plot, a doll that's not creepy whatsoever, and, yeah, it's so ridiculous, it's so stupid. I mean, they expect you to take this so seriously. There's nothing creepy or clever about this, and I'm just grateful that we live in a world now where people are actually trying with horror movies. We have CinemaCon that's happening right now over the course of this week as I'm recording this, and I've already seen 2 trailers that have shown much better results in horror trailers than what we had back then. We had the new Insidious trailer, Out of the Further, which looks pretty good, and also today Passenger came out with a trailer that looks pretty cool. It has a couple legitimately good jump scares. I mean, yeah, we are in a much better time for horror movies, and this one certainly shows you the dark times of horror movies back in the day, back when people just did not give a shit whatsoever, and this was the end result of that. So, I got nothing else for you except, yeah, The Boy just is a bad movie, but who knows? Maybe they'll turn it around with a sequel. Hey, Annabelle will turn it around with a sequel, except that one had a much better director who knew what he was doing. Boy does not. It has the same director as this one, so that should probably tell you right there. So let's go ahead and move on to our last movie of this abomination of a weekend, and that is the latest young adult movie that studios are trying to create as the next Hunger Games in Twilight, The Fifth Wave.
Our home. We have to take it back.
The Fifth Wave. Go to youtube.com/fifthwavemovie.
So it's a young adult version of a bad Roland Emmerich disaster movie. I mean, that's literally what we're going with here. I mean, earthquakes, weather, plague. I mean, but 4 waves of increasingly deadly attacks have left most of Earth in ruins. Against the backdrop of fear and distrust, Cassie, played by Chloe Grace Moretz, is on the run, desperately trying to save her younger brother. As she prepares for the inevitable and lethal 5th wave, Cassie teams up with a young man who may become her final hope, if she can only trust him. There's nothing you could trust with this movie in general. The movie is directed by a guy named Jay Blakeson. That really tells you right there how much they did not give a shit about this movie. But like I said, this is based off of a young adult novel that they're trying so hard to create as the next Twilight Hunger Games Divergent success, and yeah, it backfires big time because it's a movie that has no idea what it wants to do. It's nothing but a studio that's trying so hard to capture that magic of those other young adult franchises out there, but there is no hook to this whatsoever. There's no gimmick to this whatsoever. This is a lousy movie, man. It wastes so much good talent here. Chloe Moretz, Liev Schreiber, Nick Robinson, Ron Livingston, Maria Bello, Micah Monroe, Tony Revolvi. I mean, this is too good of a cast to be involved in a movie like this, and there's just nothing there. Like, it's a movie that has no idea what they're trying to do. It's a movie that has no idea how to present itself and put itself in a position where it can stand out as something new or unique. It just says, throw everything in a disaster movie at the wall, and let's throw aliens in there, and Hunger Games, Twilight, let's just do that. And yeah, they have no idea what they want to do with this, and it shows on screen. What more do you have to say about this, man? This is a terrible movie, and the perfect culmination of everything that is wrong with this weekend in general. It says a lot when, of all the movies that we've looked at here, this is the best one of the bunch, and even then, this movie is absolutely horrible. It's a bad weekend for movies, and The Fifth Wave is definitely one of those movies that is just part of the reason why it's a bad weekend. But don't worry, folks, things will indeed get better next time on the show, because the month of January is actually ending on a very positive note, because we have the third installment of the Kung Fu Panda franchise, Kung Fu Panda 3. We have one of Disney's more underrated modern live-action movies, The Finest Hours. We do have one steaming pile of garbage with Marlon Wayans' 50 Shades of Black, when, judging by how I looked at the Scary Movie trailer recently that came out, people are not going to really love what I have to say about this steaming pile of garbage that makes 50 Shades of Grey look like a masterpiece by comparison. But we do have also Jane Got a Gun, and the Rooster Teeth guys get their first movie with Laser Team, a movie that I said before. I think I had another movie that I thought was the movie that had Corey Coleman as a cameo in it, but no, this one is definitely that film, so we'll take a look at those movies. Certainly going to end the month off on a much better note than it began. So, with all that said, though, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please go ahead and do me the honors of hitting that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification button. Also, don't forget to check out our playlist, and don't forget to check out the previous episode we did. So, with all that said, whether it's in the past, the present, or the future, I will see you at the movies. Take care.